Ladies and gentlemen, All Saints Catholic Church in Dallas, Texas welcomes you to All Saints Coffee Chats.
Hello!
Good morning.
Welcome to
Welcome.
All Saints Coffee Chats, episode
27.
27?
We've been doing this for over half
Over
of a year.
half a year. Now past.
Wow.
Yes!
We
Woo!
are past over half of a year of doing this.
I always wanted to be a talk show host. Oh, I got the
Yeah,
sound
I know.
on. Hello. That's going to be echoey.
Yeah, I would just.
We are glad you are here with us. It is the three of us here today for Coffee Chat number 27. I'm
Yes.
Chelsea Cologne.
I am Paul Bianchi.
And I am Andrew Darling, and I cannot move these titles fast enough.
Yes,
But
because
that is
we're
okay.
talking super fast.
We are talking super fast, but
That's
that's
all good.
okay. We are so glad that you're here with us.
Well,
just
with
about-
each other.
With each other,
Yeah.
Not with.
I'm not talking to
ourselves.
myself. Yeah,
Yes, we
thank
could.
you, Adam Carr. Happy 6-month anniversary to you as a viewer. Should we did that?
Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us for, I guess we could call it our 6-month anniversary.
Yeah. Well, oh boy.
We are grateful for your presence here. We'll chat a little bit, and then if you have questions, thoughts, comments,
Things.
topics of discussion,
Yeah.
please feel free to, throw them our way.
That's right. I have this shared on multiple devices apparently because I'm seeing two different things.
Do you?
Oh, but that's good. That's good. Next week, Adam Carr will be with us actually as our guest to talk about our 6-month anniversary. Maybe we'll see. But it'll be exciting. It's always good to have Adam back here and joining us. So that'll be fun. But yeah, whatever questions you guys have, go ahead and send those our way, and we will answer them to the best of our capabilities. So we'll go ahead and start things off the same way we always do. Saints, anybody got something new, somebody that they're looking at and they're like, man, did you know this about this person? Or any of that? I'm looking to both of you for answers first.
We were talking a little bit about him last night, or Mo was actually, and Father Emil Capon, I forget, there's like 20 different ways you can say his last name, and I've heard them all from different people.
Oh,
But
yeah,
Father
yeah.
Capon, Father
Capon,
Capon,
yeah.
I think he's a venerable at this point, maybe. So he's even further than a blessed, but we were talking about Veterans Day yesterday, and he was a Army chaplain, who's a priest.
Never heard of Emil Capon?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
he's from Kansas.
Oh,
So,
well, okay.
Another, but there's just an amazing story, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't mix him up with there's another priest chaplain that I'm thinking of that is also venerable that I might get the stories confused, but I'm pretty sure he was in Korea in the
Okay.
50s, and,
He was.
okay,
Korea and World War II.
okay,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Very
so
cool.
he was, and then for a while in Korea, he was in a prisoner of war camp and would like sneak out to say mass and visit the other guys in the camp that were with him there, and things like that, so.
Very cool.
Another story that's really cool, really worth looking up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Chelsea?
I was reminded of Father Capon last night, and he just has a beautiful story. Mother Teresa still will forever be my favorite. Just her life and her persistence, and was recently reminded of a story that's supposedly told about her, how she would often go looking for, she would go begging for food for the orphans. And so she walked into a bakery shop that she frequented, and she walked in and she was like, "Good morning, sir, how are you today? Do you have some bread for me, for the children?" And the man, the baker, just straight up spit in her face. And without missing a beat, she wiped the spit off of her face and was like, "Thank you for the gift for me. Now what about the food for the orphans?"
That's awesome.
And I'm like, what persistence to just kind of and I mean, literally turning the other cheek of I came here for a purpose, and I have a mission,
Yeah.
And I'm not really worried about like anything that you're gonna do against me, including like spit in my face, literally. But like, I know what God has sent me to do, and I'm gonna feed the children. So like, let's go.
Yeah.
Give me the food.
Yeah.
So just being inspired by her persistence and her focus on what her goal was.
Yeah, just that absolute ability to love.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know that's something we've talked a lot about in the last couple of weeks, and I think I've referenced that we do the apologetics class up at the school, and we've talked a lot about that. That even in the face of hatred or evil or spite for, you know, whatever reason, right? Like, I don't know why the baker would think it's okay to spit in somebody's face. To just love and to be okay. We'll move.
Thank
Barbara
you.
Francis.
Yeah, we can't move him out of the picture.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to hide him.
Around. Yeah.
For me, actually, you know, recently I and not a saint, not even dead, but Pope Emeritus Benedict. A lot of stuff in the news lately about how his health is failing, and I love the imagery that somebody said about he's like a candle, slowly fading in light, and his serenity, but he's no longer able to do mass or anything, and I guess a lot of that has allowed me to reflect on the first encyclical I think I ever sat down and like read all the way through and really focused on was his God is Love, Dos Caritas Est. And I've been focusing a lot on him. Again, he's not a saint, a good and holy man who has had a great impact. But I think I've been looking a lot at his life again, and you know, Jesus of Nazareth, the book that he wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, so intellectually heavy and yet at the same time like so beautiful, and is able to be able to apply to the faith in such a accessible way for people. And then of course you have like I think one of his other books is like the beginning teachings of like Catholicism. I forget what the actual title is. Introduction to Christianity. Which is not an introduction at all. It's like, come on, man. But yeah, so really a lot on that, and like so Dos Caritas Est talks about the love of the church and how that can never go away, and what the actual definition of caritas, love, that love is, that Mary is our hope eternally. But yeah, just a lot of beautiful points throughout the entire thing that I've really referenced back to, especially with everything going on in the world, where you regularly wake up and you read the news and it just feels like there's another thing getting dropped in your lap and you're like, oh. So yeah, I go back to that. And of course that leads into scripture passage, and we've focused a lot because of that topic on the first letter of John, chapter 4, that God is love, and you know that John is talking about we love because God has loved us first, and just all of that, and that of course goes hand in hand with the encyclical. So, how about you guys, scripture passages? I know one's been following you around a little bit.
Yeah, following me around. It's kind of slightly eerie.
It's good.
It's very good. I just forgot what the Lord's trying to tell me. In Acts of the Apostles, chapter 2, starting at verse 42, they devoted themselves to the teaching of the apostles and to the communal life, to the breaking of the bread and to the prayers. And it's really kind of been interesting how that verse has really continued to follow me around the last week or so, including today, our little calendar here that I sat down and looked at it. On November 12th, and the scripture of the day is Acts 2:42.
Yeah.
I'm a little freaked out. But I think just that reminder to what are we devoting ourselves to on a regular basis, and what are we called to? as Christian people.
Yeah. This is right after the disciples have the Holy Spirit descend upon them, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Acts chapter 2, yeah.
Right, it's-
And they devote themselves to
Summary
the
after.
apostles, teaching to the fellowship, to the breaking bread, and to the prayers. Yeah. That's very profound, especially for people who work in the church, and devoting yourself in that way. Yeah. What about you, Andrew?
I'm still just. We had Bible study last night, so I'm still thinking about the reading the parable from the gospel for this Sunday. So I know we're going to talk about that in our other productions as well, but
Yes.
I don't want to spoil it. But
All of the things.
yeah.
All of
Yep.
the things.
But that's been on my mind. The parable of the talents. So that is. So.
All right, very cool. So Adam asked about hearing some reflections on the past 6 months, especially positives that have come from the year so far. Okay, so last 6 months, that puts us back in beginning of May. Anybody got it? I had 2 children's birthdays. I have 3 children's birthdays. I won't mention which one I just forgot in my head. I hit a milestone birthday.
Yeah, you did.
I turned old. I had already gotten a head start on everybody, but yeah, I gotta say, man, this whole thing has caused us to relook and reinvent the way that we evangelize, and I think because of that, I will say that one of the positives that has come from all of this is that we are able to do ministry in this way to people all over the world. We know that we have viewers who are watching that have watched in the past in the Philippines, in Nigeria, in Canada. We had somebody in Indiana last week that was saying something. So we know that we're experiencing things on a much larger scale, which is really neat to bring God to people all over. It's humbling in a lot of ways also, because I don't think any of us ever thought we were going to have that kind of impact on things outside of the walls of All Saints to the extent that we had. But yeah, I think that's been one of the positives for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we were just talking last night with some of our core team how we kind of got ahead of things, and we talked about that before, about the equipment that we purchased, and just thinking, and it's interesting that you say that we've kind of had to reinvent things, because I remember, I mean, it's been several years now that I first started in ministry kind of in a paid position, and I remember a dear mentor of mine, Mary Lynn Dietz, she was working at the school at the time as like the religious education coordinator. I don't know what her position exactly was, and she had been doing ministry for more of a ministry veteran, if you will. And I remember sitting down and talking to her, and she was like, "Hey, just remember, first thing, don't reinvent the wheel," which is often what we say in ministry, because there are so many things that people have created it, but it's really kind of been that challenge of maybe not reinventing the wheel totally, but like really having a different lens through which we are doing ministry, and like how do we go about that, instead of trying to just totally take what we're doing, and I know we've discussed this a lot, take ministry and just move it online, or move it, any type of way outside of the normal, or what we've been doing previously. Which I think is a huge thing, because I think a lot of people have had the conversation as well of, will things return to normal? And it's like, okay, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Normal to how life was pre, March 13th, when like I feel like the whole world
The day
just
the world exploded.
the way, yeah, it was like the day the world exploded, and like
It didn't explode, it just kind of stopped.
it
Yeah.
just kind of stopped,
Just
and it
kinda
was
stopped,
like,
yeah.
Just
wait,
kinda cleared.
what?
Yeah.
And we were up here going, okay, what's our game plan going to look like? Where are we going? What are we doing? But I think it's adjusting to that normal and going, and I know, don't hate me when I say it, but what's the new normal?
Oh,
Because
Chelsea.
it's not.
Hate it.
I know,
saying that,
don't
but
hate me.
it's-
We're all in this together.
But while
This is unprecedented.
while I hate
But
the
it's
phrase
true,
new
it's true.
normal,
Unprecedented.
I don't think we're
that's
gonna
the other
ever
one.
get the old normal back. As someone who's been like dying
Yeah.
for the old normal back, I just want normal. Give me something normal. But I think more than anything, I just want something consistent and you can at least like prepare for the everyday versus like right now it's like, all right, wake up in the morning. What's the day gonna throw me? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the place where the people who have the strength of adaptability have been able to shine greatly. And it's like, throw all the curveballs my way. I love them. Yeah, and some people have had a little bit harder of a time. Like, throw the curveballs at me. Stop it.
Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah.
Stop it!
I'm like relishing in all of it. I'm like, yes, what's the next challenge? It's frustrating, but let's do it. And yeah, other people are like, I hate everything. So, yeah. How about for you? Like, what's been the big positive in the last 6 months? Is like, yeah, this has actually been really, really
I don't really
fruitful.
call that a positive, but that wasn't really my positive. But anyway, keep going.
Oh, you could.
Go, Andrew.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
about you?
there's
You can do another positive after it.
yeah, there's definitely been lots of positive things that have been going on. Trying to make this thing look good. It's not going to look good. But I mean, there's been a lot that's, for me, just personally, that's happened in the last like 6 months. Like I finished college and like moved into my own apartment and then started this job. I mean, a little bit before that, but like it's been a pretty crazy 6 months, even without any of the COVID stuff.
Right.
But then also like that.
Also,
And you've
the-
handled it like a
Yep.
champ,
well,
Andrew.
Thanks. But
yeah.
it's been just kind of crazy, but there's been so many opportunities to try new things and to just meet new people and just like I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can even quantify it all. It's just I think one of the most important things has been like something that I talked about a lot at the beginning of all this was like trying to take inspiration from like those in religious life and from like the church, the early fathers and the desert fathers and Saint Benedict and folks like that, and just
Yeah.
the amount of time that I'm spending by myself, like in my apartment or just here with just the three of us, like versus the old normal where I might have been doing other things a lot more. And obviously we've been able to do some more things,
Yeah.
have ministry events and go see friends and things, but still just learning from that experience of like how can I grow in holiness in this particular way that I've been called to. And I think it's been, as annoying as all of it's been a really big blessing to sort of be thrown into that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a positive that you wanted to?
I mean, an opportunity to live in communal life, which has been great.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of that scripture. Going from living alone, which is an interesting place to be for an extrovert during a pandemic. And then you start making lots of friends with your neighbors, which I guess is a good thing. But I think that's probably been one of the greatest blessings of this time. And just, I think it's been like looking at all the like small blessings where it's like, because for confirmation class on Sundays, I'll come into the room and ask the teens and I'm like, okay, what's something good that happened this week? And they all just look at me. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be monumental, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
find something.
Give me something small.
Yeah.
Give me, and one of them's like, oh, I made a 90 something on my science test that I thought I failed. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we've been like looking at all the small things and it's like, we're like, well, I say small, but like all the depressing whatever. And it's like, oh, that stinks. That stinks.
Yeah.
And it's like, we could be sad together, but like, let's rejoice together too. Of like, oh, good, you made a good grade on your test. Or like, you made a new PR at swimming. Or, one girl was like, oh, I got a dog. I'm like, that's awesome.
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Just
right?
kidding.
You know about pets.
Ah.
You can't live with them and you can't live without them,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
way you
That's
go.
a catch. Yep.
But like, where do we find those like small blessings and like express gratitude for the little things?
Yeah, I think that's such an important thing, right? Like, so clearly, the coronavirus was so big and on such a large scale, and then you had the incidences with racial injustices. Again, so big, such a large scale.
Mm-hmm.
We have an election, so big, such a large scale. That I think sometimes we get caught up in whatever my good thing is has to be on that same scale for it to actually have been considered a good, and that's so unrealistic. You know, it's the same as, like, we talked about this, one of our very early episodes where I had discussed my conversion experience. My conversion experience was so big that when other people hear it, they're like, well, I don't have that, so I don't have the same faith. And it's like, no, like, those small things add up to that big thing. Like, you have to take that. Like, not everything is going to be as simple as a qualitative or quantitative measure. Like, there is things, and they are good. So let's talk about the good, you know? Right, and like, for a young person, like, we got a dog. That might seem like a small good in the midst of everything that's going on, but that is a much greater good over the span of 10 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it is hard, right? Like, nobody knows what normal is going to look like ever again. I know, Jorge, thanks for joining us again. People returning to church. I think so, and I think one of the positives that has happened over the last 6 months, and we've talked a lot about this, is there are people who are experiencing church now for the first time ever, that have never.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't invited, or they didn't feel welcomed, or they don't even know where to start, and now they have these access points that are in their living rooms, that are in their hands, on their phones, that it's like, we have people that watch the coffee chats or the mass, or even the other night when we did adoration, that have never experienced adoration before in their lives, and yet they're posting comments on what we're doing, or they're sharing that, or, shout out to my mom. I don't know if she's watching right now, but like, my mom would never have gone to adoration before we did adoration online, or the mass, or whatever it is. I mean, I know that Father Alphonse is getting emails from people who are not even parishioners at All Saints that are saying, thank you so much for these homilies. The one he did the first weekend in November that we talked about with the kids up at the school.
Oh, yeah.
This, I think one of the positives that has come from this, is frustrating as it may have been for us to learn how to do all these things, right? Like Adam pointing out the production value of everything that's going on, and all the work that you've done with that. Clearly not in your job description, clearly not what you were hired for. None of us imagined when we shifted positions in March 1st that by March 13th, the world would stop and we'd all be reinventing the way we're doing anything. But in all of that, look at the reach and the opportunity for new people to be witnessed to, who are now trying to share that witness, even if they don't fully understand what it is they're sharing. It's putting it out there. And so, Jorge, I don't know if people are going to return to church. We're very blessed at All Saints that we are one of the communities that I think people are coming back to pretty regularly. We still need your support. We still need your help. We still want to see you in the pews, but we also know that things in Dallas aren't great right now. And so we hope you join us virtually, in any way that you can. And I think that's a good thing to pray for, is that people will, once we do open up the building, people will feel just as comfortable coming to the building as they do sitting on their couch watching it on TV. So, yeah. So a lot of positives that are little victories every day. That, again, I think when you have to compare it to something as major as what has happened in the world, it's hard to compare the two, but they're definitely there. They're definitely good. So, hello, Catherine. We accept your apology.
Apology
as long
accepted.
as you ask at least
7
13
questions.
Yep. 7.
13 divided. I mean,
What? That's not even. No, don't
whatever.
do that.
Don't even listen to that.
I don't know what's
This is
going on.
why I don't do math. Jessica has a question.
Yeah. I'm not getting all of these.
Yeah.
Maybe because I haven't gone.
Sarah,
to
I
two
think
things.
these might be on
dying.
the watch party on my
Okay.
Facebook.
Mine's done.
What has been a grace in COVID?
What has been is that different than what we just said?
I mean, you kind of talked
A
about it a
grace.
little bit, like graces of COVID.
Hey, you know what, Jessica?
Yeah, that Jessica.
You guys have been a grace.
Y'all
during
have been a
COVID.
huge
You
grace
guys
of
have been
COVID.
awesome. We've been very blessed. You got to go back to like episode before this one, 27. I don't know.
Somewhere in there.
One of
13,
the 27
15.
episodes was with our Focus missionaries and Chelsea, and they have been one of the graces during all of this. I gotta say, we pretty much shut the entire building down,
Yep.
and then got Focus missionaries up at UTD. And it was like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna make this work? And we've been so blessed that they've been able to, they're officing next door. With what they're doing, and so I'm gonna say one of the graces has been that, and that we get to do ministry with them.
And they, like, if you haven't met them yet and you want to, like, you need to, because they're amazing and the most, like, joyful people, and they come, like, literally almost bouncing in every morning.
Yeah.
And they're like, hi!
Yeah,
Um,
they're fantastic.
They brought me this cup.
And they bring coffee, and they bring joy, and they love Jesus, and they're a beautiful witness of Christ. So, I don't say this often, but, like, keep being you, because y'all are awesome.
Yeah, definitely a grace. I having the opportunity to do adoration and stuff with them has been really
Yeah.
good. You got any?
I mean, beyond what I've said, just appreciating the friends and friendships, people that obviously I've been able to spend a lot of time with you guys, which has been fantastic, but just even the other friends that I've been able to see, just really appreciating that time more than I think I previously did. Just whenever I get to spend time with my family or with some friends, like, that's been a grace to just recognize how awesome a gift that is.
Yeah, family time has been huge. The fact that we've been able to kind of win back some of the busyness of kids' schedules has been huge for my wife and I and our family, our kids, and we unfortunately bit the puppy bullet as well. I say unfortunately, he's great most of the time, but yeah. So
They're smarter than we give them credit for, but they're also...
Focus missionaries or the dog or my kids? So confused right now. Where we're going.
I was talking about the dog.
Okay. Yeah. He's smart, and that's
Because that's the only
part of
thing
the
that we really have in common at our homes is a dog.
problem. We do. Yes. You have
And
a dog?
additional people.
I have a dog. Yes, and people. Yep.
But dog and dog.
One of my roommates is. I have 3 daughters.
You do have 3
You
daughters.
have 2 roommates. I can't.
I have 3
It's-
roommates. I mean,
yeah,
if
there's
you count the
numbers.
dog.
13 divided by 7, Catherine. Figure that one out.
So my roommates will tell you that there's 3 other roommates, and people will go, "What?"
Oh
And
yeah,
they'll
because
say-
of the dog.
And
I
they'll
have,
say, "Well, there's Allie." Will say, "There's Chelsea, and there's Katie. Oh, and there's our furry friend Magnolia."
Yeah. See, there you go.
What else are our friends saying here?
How
much
much did the child cost us? That's a fantastic question, Adam.
Do we even know where the child came from?
We came into the office one day, and he was just sitting on the table, like when I walked in, and I was like, "You're here." And he
You
said,
can
"Yes, I am."
allegedly
No, I don't know where it came from.
Really don't.
get one from Target for $12.99. We think.
Yeah. No. It was definitely from Target. It had the Target tag on him.
Yeah, I saw
$12.99. We think at
Yeah.
Target. We were looking last night. He could also be an alien.
Yeah, without
It looked like
yeah,
E.T.
you can put a hoodie on him. Yeah.
it just kind of looks like E.T. at that point.
He's kind of just like a green Ewok-ish now.
If Yoda,
Um,
Catherine said, if Yoda had no ears, would he just be a regular alien? Hey, Catherine, this is for you and Mo. How do I become
sure.
friends?
No,
with-
he'd still be Yoda,
He's
just
just-
without ears.
I mean, he is
How do you become friends with the Focus missionaries asking for a friend? You just ask to meet them.
Yeah, actually, they probably would be your friend anyway.
They would be.
They you don't even know them, and they don't know you, and you guys are already friends.
You're already friends. Y'all would love each other.
How awesome they are. Yeah.
What coffee are we drinking? I'm drinking Community Coffee Colombian blend. You should check it out.
I'm drinking whatever I could put into the Keurig before we started because I brewed this at 11 o'clock. But before that, Focus Missionaries got me a chestnut praline coffee.
I think you made that up.
No, that's really what it was.
I don't
That
know.
way I
Sounds
could sing
kinda not real.
chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a caramel macchiato.
You can meet them next week, Adam. I think they'll be here.
Yeah, definitely. I'll stop by and ask them once we're done. Like, hey, you guys want to meet Adam?
Catherine
They
says
said
that
no. No,
13 divided by
yeah.
7 is not 2.
13 divided by 7 is not 2.
Is not
Thank
2.
you.
You're right, Catherine. It's not.
That is. I'm glad we've got.
Did I say that it was?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's true.
I mean, she may just be stating a fact.
Oh, okay.
It is a fact.
Perfect. Just checking.
Yeah. 13 divided by 7, not 2.
Favorite holiday drink or food? Or both.
Uh,
Drink/food.
Pumpkin pie.
I thought you were going for a drink for a second before I remembered that she also said food. I know that you can't drink pumpkin pie, but maybe you can. Anyway, sorry.
Maybe.
That's
I don't know. I don't know if I have like a go-to favorite. I like pumpkin pie.
Okay, so are we talking, Catherine, like holiday foods and drinks or foods and drinks that you happen to have over the holidays? Because
like,
those are different.
are they for the holidays, or they just happen to be during the holidays?
Like they're types of food that your family particularly cooks over the holidays, or are they actually things that like pumpkin pie you typically only have at Thanksgiving. Like it's just that
Yeah.
thing. But is it like the thing that you have for Thanksgiving?
Like how Die Hard is technically a Christmas movie because you usually have it at Christmas.
It's not
Usually.
technically. It is a Christmas
Okay,
movie.
then that answers the question.
But like, for example, like growing up, traditional Christmas lunch when we were with my mom's family was either homemade lasagna or homemade spaghetti and meatballs with Italian sausage. But you wouldn't think of that as Christmas dinner.
Meatballs and sausage?
Yes.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
And you put it. My
So
grandma
much-
would
so
put it in
many
this
good things.
this massive vat.
Yeah.
Like think of like a
cauldron.
crock pot, but like 3 times the size of a normal crock pot.
Okay.
And that's what grandma cooked it in.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And my grandma did that for Thanksgiving one year when my grandmother lived with us for a couple of years. She made a lasagna in the turkey roaster. We have like, it's one, and like it was the whole thing, and that's so.
Yeah.
There's a weird mixture of Italian people there too, but.
How can you get motivation to finish working today? Go to Walmart and buy some. Shout out Lauren Blanchard.
Does that work?
No.
It does. So one time I was in college and
Yep.
my friend said,
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to
Just
Walmart.
name it.
This is my roommate.
Mhm.
And I said, hey Lauren, I'm going to Walmart. Do you need anything? And she said, motivation. Can you buy me some? And I said, sure, I'll be back. So anytime someone says, where can I get motivation? We always just say Walmart. She said seasonal foods or drinks, things that are only available during that season.
I only eat candy canes during Christmas. I don't know. I don't. I mean, we have the traditional turkey at Thanksgiving, which is pretty much the only time of the year that I'll eat turkey. I'm not a big turkey fan.
But we won't talk about that on here.
Ham. I'll eat ham.
Ham.
Usually, I mean, I'll have like a ham sandwich every now and then. But yeah, the only time I eat like an actual
I
ham.
love spiral ham, like
Yeah.
honey ham.
Christmas, New Year's, those are, yeah, well, no, we used to have it New Year's, but like, yeah, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, it's the only time I really eat those things.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes are really good. I love
Those
me
are
some
good.
mashed potatoes.
So my aunt makes these. Shout out my godmother, makes these amazing cheese potatoes.
Okay.
Like they're
Not like au gratin,
kind of like au gratin, but
which
they're
is
like
not the same as a la carte or a la mode.
correct.
Yes, okay. Had to get that one in there.
Get that all straight. Okay.
Catherine,
But-
that's not a hot take. That's just truth. Yes, ham is better than turkey. Yeah,
Yes, always.
we're not-
Ham is always
yeah.
better than turkey.
Anybody wants to argue? I love arguing, so let's talk.
I don't like to argue
I
ever.
love. Sorry.
Yeah, so anyway, they're like kind of, maybe they're kind of like an au gratin kind of thing, I don't know. But we pretty much, no matter what's being had for the main meal, it's there's a few of us that will call my aunt and be like, "You're making potatoes, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuffing.
Stuffing.
I love stuffing. Stuffing
I
is
do like
very
stuffing.
good. Yes.
My aunt used to make, I guess it was my grandma, but my aunt then, after she passed away, used to make this stuffing that was, it's like a loaf of bread and then like 20 sticks of butter, and that's the whole thing.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
That's
That's
perfect
amazing.
stuffing.
So my aunt also passed away a couple years ago. We've been trying to emulate it. We can't quite get it right, but that's
Probably missing like salt or something.
Bread
Oh,
and
yeah.
like 26 of butter. That's hilarious.
that's really, we found the recipe that she had, and that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic right there, man. Yeah, butter
Good
and
stuff.
bread are it's a great combination.
Yeah.
Everybody should live their life by that.
We will also have like authentic. So my grandmother and grandfather used to make kibbeh and like various Lebanese foods.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother was Lebanese, and so now we like only kind of get it on like holidays.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, maybe we'll get kibbeh, but kibbeh is like, I don't know, it's like a very intricate. I don't know. My aunt makes it.
Takes a lot.
I probably should learn how to make it. My grandmother left us all, so she passed like 50 years ago. But back when she was cooking a lot, she left us cookbooks. But I need to figure out where the cookbook is.
Oh yeah.
I think it's probably in like the safe at my parents' house. Yeah, I need to figure that out. Glad I thought of that. Jessica's being serious with questions.
I guess
Okay,
we can
well,
answer
hold
this.
on.
Well,
We
what
have
do
one
you?
more ridiculous one in here.
Yeah.
Let's go with
Adam,
ridiculous
great question. Do you have family members that bring the same of multiples? I always laugh when people bring multiple variations of cranberries to things. It's like we got the dried cranberries, we got the jellied cranberry, like you know the one that in a
Jell-O
can.
kind of.
Yeah, the Jell-O cranberry, and then you got like fresh cranberries. And I decided I was going to jump on this bandwagon and do the same thing. So I started making cranberry salsa, just to be interesting, which was great.
Did you say cranberry salsa?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I
Explain this to me, please.
so it's a very very difficult recipe to remember. I'll try. It's cranberries, sugar, jalapenos, and cilantro, and that's it.
That-
Blend it all up. You get
Okay.
your Tostitos. The Tostitos lime pop a little bit better with the cranberry.
Yeah.
But it's like a sweet and spicy at the same time. It's pretty much the kind of salsa that you could just sit down with a spoon and eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'll not make it for you guys sometime
Oh, good.
because I'll eat it for myself. Like the pumpkin cheesecakes that I made. Yeah.
I know you.
So yeah.
How does one salsa cranberries?
With jalapenos and sugar and cilantro and a blender.
And like,
And what do you eat said salsa with?
Chips.
Oh, okay. I just checking.
I already said that.
or just a spoon.
Yeah. Okay, what was Jessica's question? And then we got a question here from Maria as well.
Okay. She's got a couple.
Oh, good.
Maybe we can answer them kind of all at once. Okay. How do you stay close to Jesus amidst great suffering? What are-
Say that again. How do you what?
How do you stay close to Jesus
Uh-huh.
amidst great suffering?
Ooh,
What
good
are-
question.
What are easy ways to incorporate prayer into your daily life?
Yeah. Okay.
And how do you grow in trust with the Lord every day? How are you personally growing in trust with Him this week? Ooh, Jessica, sister.
Yeah, those are a lot of great questions. I'll let Chelsea answer those. No, those are good.
How do we want to start with the first one?
Yeah.
How do you stay close to Jesus amidst great suffering? I think it's one of those things of like praying without ceasing. And I know that sounds like, oh, that's just a cop-out answer. I think I've found in my life, in times of greater suffering, it's harder. Those are the moments that are harder to really sit down and pray and spend lots of time in focused prayer. But I think I've found it more easily to be everything that I'm doing is engaging in prayer and trying to be engaged in prayer, whether I'm doing the dishes or, like cleaning the house or working, like doing my job or, whatever it is, and just really uniting that to Jesus. Because sometimes it's easier for me to stay focused on him and not stay focused on the suffering. I remember I was listening to Father Josh Johnson talking about like being in adoration. And he was like, you don't have to kneel during the entire adoration. Because sometimes when you're, if you go to a holy hour, and he was saying like, if you're kneeling the entire time, because we're human, our knees are gonna hurt. And then your focus moves off of Jesus and onto your hurting knees. And the whole point of being in prayer is to be focused on Jesus. And so what can you do for yourself to be more comfortable and keep your attention focused on where it needs to be? And so I really kind of translate that to like, what can you do in your life amidst great suffering to keep your eyes focused on Jesus instead of like what's causing the suffering?
Yeah,
That's all I got.
I would a lot of my own personal spiritual journey had a lot to do with the Stations of the Cross, especially in the beginning. And I wear this. I wear my wedding ring, of course, every day, and I wear this ring every day. It's a crown of thorns, and I think when you look at staying close to Jesus during great suffering, the first thing that I look at is his suffering. That Jesus's life was filled with these sufferings, right? So sufferings that, going back to what we talked about earlier, minor things throughout that got greater and greater over time until the end, right? We have this beautiful picture here behind me of the crucifixion. And I think for me, some of what I look at with that is not only just the suffering that Christ went through, but also Mary's suffering, and looking at her and reflecting on her life, that like she knew from a very early moment what was going to happen, and the sword piercing her heart, and lived with that for so many years, right? Like every time there was something great that happened in the life of her son, I'm sure she also had to reflect on there was going to be something else that was coming. And then also St. John, John the Beloved, being there at the foot of the cross as well. And Jesus looking at him and looking at Mary and saying, behold, this is your mother, to John about Mary, and then saying to Mary, behold, this is your son. That the suffering that we go through in our lives, Christ is very aware of what it means to suffer, and he's given us these models, himself and Lazarus and Martha and Mary and their relationship to Lazarus when Jesus comes after he's dead, and there's that suffering, and we see Jesus crying. It says Jesus wept in the gospel. So for me, staying close to Jesus in the midst of suffering is reflecting on those people and those things, that there were very clear witnesses and things that were said as, instruction to said people. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you have anything you want to add to that?
You said most of what I was kind of thinking, just uniting yourself to the cross. But, yeah, I don't know if I can say any better than that. but-
Yeah. I know there were other questions than that. Maria, you have a 14-year-old who's attending JP2 and a group of young saints on a mission where we find young adults practicing Ignatian spirituality. I would love, and perfect that it's off topic because that's always welcome. But I think that conversation is probably a conversation that we could have off of this. If you want to reach out to Chelsea or Andrew or myself, we can put our email addresses in there, because I think what you're asking for is fantastic, but I think there's got to be more clarification on what it is exactly that you want to do and how we could make that work. I love Ignatian spirituality. That's been a huge part of my life.
Me too.
We have great programs for our high school students currently. I know Sammy Argumenez, who is the campus minister there at JP2. If it's not something that we have, it's something that he may have, or if we are looking at creating something brand new, we would love to work with you on that. The more opportunities we give our young people to grow in their faith, the better. So reach out to us on that. I think Chelsea or Andrew are plugging in email addresses right now, and we'd love to work with you a little bit more on that. And thank you so much for joining us today, landing here, even if it was by accident. God has no accidents, right? He's like Bob Ross. Happy accidents. There's no mistakes, just happy accidents. So yeah, great that you're.
So I was not ready for
You
the
weren't
Bob
ready.
Ross.
You weren't ready for the
parable
Bob Ross
there.
thing? Yeah, I like
I mean,
those curveballs.
It's good.
They're
It
good.
works.
They're good.
It
Yeah.
works. It works.
Gosh. Well,
Okay. So one of the questions Jessica asked is, how do we make prayer part of our daily lives? Right?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The
Nope. Not that one.
the captions on
Facebook.
Facebook are really funny.
Oh,
Are they really?
I'm sure.
Oh, they're hilarious.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Like when you said curveballs, it put up Kurt
Kurt.
instead of curve,
Kurt balls.
like the name Kurt.
Whatever.
Yeah, so it's just some different things that they've different words it's picked up on. Yeah, easy ways to incorporate prayer.
Did we put the email address?
You want to start with that one?
Didn't.
Say it again.
You want to go, or you want to go?
Okay. I was trying to see if we put the emails up in there.
Oh, not
It's
yet.
not
My
showing up
computer
on-
has decided to freeze.
Okay, I'll put.
1%.
Mine's kind of freaking out. Jessica's question on prayer. My advice, if that's something that you might be struggling with out there, the daily readings are a beautiful way, and the church has provided to us. You can go to the USCCB website. You can also, there's many resources out there that provide daily readings, such as there's a wonderful community for women of many ages called Blessed Is She, and they provide the daily readings along with like a short reflection. Just looking at the readings and how they, it's the readings for Mass that day, and how those really apply to our lives, and just looking, and the church and our infinite wisdom always, they're just so applicable to what's going on in the world, in my opinion. And it's just so beautiful and kind of strikes you like, how did the church know? But God just knows what we need.
Yeah.
So that's a great place to start. If you need more time of, quieter prayer, a little bit of time in adoration, but start small. Don't think like, if I'm just starting to pray, like I have to pray for an hour. Start small and let it grow.
Yeah, Adam put on here how to make prayer part of your daily life. Find something that you do that can act as a reminder, trigger, and be stubborn. I know it. I joke about this all the time, but for me, and I don't remember who said this to me, or maybe it was that they said it similar like what Adam said, like find something you do in your daily life. The only time I could pray when I first started going to church was when I was taking a shower. And so I would get into the shower and I would just pray the entire time. In the shower, or anything that's like part of your daily routine that you don't actually have to think your way through, is an easy place to plug prayer into, because you don't have to think about it, right? Like, all of us have taken showers long enough in our lives that we know how to shower without having to think of every step of the shower. So it's one of those things that, like, oh, well, I do this every day. Brushing your teeth, right? I do this every day. So let me take a few minutes. And so it's little things that prayer has to become habit a lot of times, especially with your daily life. That, you know, I was never the person that when I woke up in the morning, the first thing I did was think about Jesus. And I've heard that so many times from so many priests and so many of the speakers at the conferences and different things like that. Like, if you're not making God the first thing that you do every day, then your day is a failure. And I'm like, I just can't do it, man. Especially now, like, I've got kids that I have to get ready for school every morning and stuff. And I get up in the morning, and the last thing I'm thinking about is prayer. I'm thinking about, like, do I have lunches ready? Who's got to get dressed when? The dog's got to go outside. You know, when am I going to take a shower? All these other things. But if you can figure out what it is in your morning routine that you can snap into and say, I can put prayer here. Even if it's little, you know, a short prayer. Same thing in the evenings. And you make it a habit to pray before you eat and different stuff like that. So
another thing I always have heard with that, especially when I was in seminary, rector was good about this. Just having, like, sacred images around, like having a crucifix in your room, and having, you know, a lot of guys at the seminary had a little altar in their room. It was just like a bench with some stuff on it, and I think keeping that practice of, like, every time I walk into my room, now I can see this little prayer spot that I've kind of put together, and even if it's not, you know, fancy, it's something that just reminds me as I'm here that this is a part of my life, and this is the most important part of my life. And so, just, you know, whenever I walk by that image or that crucifix or that thing, just like Adam said, it's just a constant reminder. I think that's one way to start as well.
Apps. There's so many apps that help with prayer.
Yeah.
You know, you've got everything from daily examines to daily readings to, I forget, Pope Francis has an app, well, the Vatican, that is like a daily prayer reminder. I can't think of the name of it right now. I'll have to look at it again.
I'm not sure which one you're specifically referring to.
It's the logo for it's a little candle, but I can't think of what it is. I'll have to look through it and see if I can. Click to pray. Look at that. It was like the first thing on there. So yeah, it's from Vatican Media, and it's got like what the Pope is praying for that week or that month or that day. And it's got, you know, the prayer intention of the Pope, and then it's got a calendar and people that you can be in community with for your prayer in the network. So yeah, I mean, different stuff like that, and you can set an alarm to it to where it notifies you that, hey, you need to pray. So
That's good to know.
yeah, lightning round question: pineapples on pizza or being right?
What?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I disagree, but
I mean, right? Like,
You're wrong,
Adam has always been a huge advocate for the salvation of souls or pineapple on pizza. I think is the way he usually words it. So, yeah. All right. So I guess Adam, thanks for the heads up. It is lightning round time.
it is lightning round time.
It's on the table.
Did you guys borrow any of these?
Yeah,
It's on the
right there on the
table.
table. All right. So, one behind you. There you go. Yep.
Just one? We're missing two now.
Just the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Let's do
Ready for this?
All right.
All right.
Oh,
Are we
look at that.
timing this?
We got a lightning round timer. That's not intimidating at all.
Oh.
Fantastic.
I'm just the same thing.
It's
now
like
making-
totally different because now everybody knows that The times we were making up before are lies.
All right, here we
Yeah,
go.
right. They just didn't mean
All right,
it.
what order are we going in?
well, you
We'll
can-
go.
Andrew?
We'll go this way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And go. Roller skating or skateboarding?
Roller skating.
Rollerblades.
Rollerblading. Excuse me.
Rollerblading.
Good time.
Pineapple or pineapple and ham
Is this on pizza or in general?
on pizza?
Okay, just pineapple.
Pineapple and ham, so I can pick the pineapples off.
Me too. I did it last night.
It's like Adam knew.
Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
That wasn't a choice.
All of these are like
Hamburgers.
actually.
Side of soup or side of salad?
Depends on the thing. But
No. You have to pick one.
Soup.
Caesar salad or tomato soup.
Those are.
Salad.
None of these are being
Spend
answered.
all day sitting or all day standing?
I feel like I should say all day standing because that's better for you, but also
Just pick.
sitting. Sorry, I'm
That's not how
trying
lightning round works.
I like having the very desk that you can sit or stand. The standing
Oh,
desk.
killing
that
me.
changes that.
Standing. Coke products or Pepsi products?
This is not even a question.
Coke.
It's either Coke products or water.
Neither. Amusement park or water park?
Water park.
Water park.
Water park. Formal attire every day or pajamas?
Pajamas.
Pajamas.
Obvious. Yeah, what?
Pajamas.
Pajamas.
Yeah.
A dog that could hum or a cat that could whistle?
What?
You have to have a pet, and it's either a dog that can hum or a cat that can whistle.
Both of those are just awesome images. Like they can't
Just
talk.
pick
They
one.
can hum. I'm gonna go with dog that can hum.
Yeah, dog. Cats. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
Even
dog.
whistling cats.
Would you rather publish your diary
Ugh.
or make a movie about your most embarrassing moment?
I guess I'm gonna go with movie about my most embarrassing moment because then it's just one of them.
Yeah, you can publish my diary. It's a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah, I mean,
Never had a diary.
Make a movie.
Yeah.
Only be able to watch golf or only be able to watch weather reports.
Oh, what circle of hell is this?
All right, quick.
I'm gonna golf.
Golf.
Just 'cause at least something happens.
But not the Gulf of Mexico.
Not the Gulf.
Yeah.
No, golf, like
yeah.
sport.
Yeah, golf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with weather reports.
That's just the worst. No offense.
Yeah, like
Welcome
Pete
to my
Douglas.
house as a
One
high
weather
school
report
kid.
for like 3 minutes makes sense, but a
We used to-
whole life of them.
Ever? Yeah, I mean that's.
Ugh.
Gee.
We used to wake up watching Doppler radar. That was our alarm in the mornings.
Because there's.
Yeah, but you could stop. You'd like eventually leave the Doppler radar.
Always, hold on. Always laugh at sad things or always cry at funny things.
Oh jeez. I'm gonna go with cry at funny things because that would be less offensive in more situations.
I am gonna be honest to who I am, and I will laugh at sad things. It's not always good, but it's always true.
I think that's probably would be me. Because I would just be like, I'm not going to cry, so I'm just going to laugh. Would you rather be stuck on an island alone or with someone who won't stop talking?
Oh,
jeez.
alone.
Alone, I guess.
Someone who won't stop talking.
Catherine, you guys are terrible at this today.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're only functioning. I'm on like my 6th cup of coffee and still falling asleep.
Would you rather have one wish granted today or 3 wishes granted 5 years from now?
Wait, what was it?
That's a
One
good
wish
question.
granted today or 3 wishes granted 5 years from now?
What if I could wish to move forward 5 years to get those 3 wishes? Is that a thing?
Well, if
No.
you wish, take the wish now, you don't have the wish.
All right, whatever.
I'm gonna go with the 3 wishes in 5 years, and I can like
Yeah.
plan out, like,
let's say the same.
strategize.
No, I'm going to go with the one wish now.
Oh, I'm gonna go 3 years. Oh, sorry, guys.
I don't want to wait 5 years for 3
Sorry.
wishes. Y'all are terrible at this today. Last one.
We're trying.
You're
Never-
asking the questions very fast.
Never need glasses
Obvious.
or never need a hearing aid. Like, you're going to lose both your
Oh,
hearing
no.
and your
Like,
sight.
lose your hearing
Hearing
or
aid.
lose your.
I don't want
your
to
sight.
hear need.
So you want glasses?
Yeah, I'd be okay with glasses. I don't want to lose my hearing. I already feel like I'm losing my hearing. It's not fun.
What's the difficulty? I'm gonna go with the same thing.
Done?
Wait,
We're done.
which one are you?
Just under 5 minutes.
We did it. Oh, okay, I hit it right at 5. But right at 5 minutes.
We're at 4:59.
That's pretty good.
It's
That's
a new record.
it's a new record. It's always a new
It's a
record.
new record with this time counter. Take
All right,
that.
guys.
Hey, we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, either live or recorded.
We are
in the
grateful
future.
for all of you, for all of
Yeah.
your questions. Catherine, your questions are amazing. Always and always needed and welcomed.
Shout out to Adam and Jessica and Jorge and Maria and Catherine and everybody who's watching with us today. Thank you so much for being here. We let's go ahead and pray, and we will keep you in our prayers. For sure, we ask all of this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all the blessings that you have given to us. We ask that you help us to be mindful of those things that are positive in our life, no matter how big or how small. And we ask that you bless everything that we do and to help us to be Christ to everyone that we encounter. And we ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Father and Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Bye, guys. Adam,
guys.
that's a great question, but that's all the time we have for today.
Well, see you next week. Bye.
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 Bye.